I was just over in Sebastian County this morning. One of the things that we're going to have to, it seems to me, do is, I'll recommend this to the governor as well and to y'all, but we got a lot of knowledge in these mayors and county judges that dealt with it day in, day out. We got to make sure that we don't let those lessons learned stay below the state and federal, so I think we need to get all the county judges and mayors and people that were sort of leading the effort in these 7 or whatever counties and get them together and sort of, and maybe have the core people in the room and say, going forward, what can we do differently? Just make sure we put the lesson learned down, because the state and the Fed has some of the money and things like that, but y'all are seeing things that the higher levels may not be seeing. Part of the equation is going to be figuring out, of all the things that flooded, where do we put our money so that it's well spent?
Here it'll make a difference.
Yeah, like on the levee.
Simply elevating the height of Highway 7, where you come off the bridge, get you another 2 foot over there. We didn't have an issue once. Otherwise, we were fighting. They wanted that bridge would have been shut for 2 days. We had to stop it from our side, and that shuts down Walmart, Tyson. I'm doing having them pull economic impact study right now on some numbers so I can give to the governor to show him this. And 360 of Conackers employees live over here.
Governor, I think RDOT needs to be a part of the conversation too, because of that.
Well, the point is all the stakeholders, because this can't be a top-down driven deal where the feds and the states say, well, this is what we're going to do. We need to have the counties and the mayors who are actually here. Yeah.
At least them.
Yeah. So contingent, not necessarily permanent infrastructure everywhere, but contingency plans that can be deployed as needed, in addition to beefing up your permanent infrastructure.
Right. And they can get all that done through mitigation dollars after this is over. Mm-hmm. That's usually 100%.
Save money long term.
I'm going to do over here on the school.
Yeah.
I'm going to build a levee system all the way from the Armory around our school, and with new drains on the school side that will help keep them drier than what they normally are with stopgates. If it's coming at us ever again from that way, we just stopgate down. We're done.
Well, you know the key role guys like this are going to play is the representatives and senators from the parts of the state that weren't impacted. They care, but they're not going to have the information that you're going to have because it didn't impact them.
Or the urgency.
Right. I mean, they'll support whatever, but it's going to require some education by folks like you and you that were actually here to say, what you may think would have helped wouldn't have helped here. You're going to have to explain why.
Governor, the Corps needs to be brought into this conversation along with this Congressman Western.
Oh yeah,
he's a big part of that.
Oh,
because he sits on that waterway. In fact, I think he's senior member.
Yeah.
We need to have the Corps, at least from Fort Smith to Pine Bluff, to do a reevaluation and a reassessment of these levees and the structural integrity, because that hasn't been done in years.
Yeah.
I worked with a group of farmers in Logan County that actually built that levee in the bottoms. They paid for it themselves.
And maintenance has been postponed in some instances.
2 years 2 years ago, they asked me to ask the Corps to come in and just maintain it, which was reasonable. Mm-hmm. They built it. The Corps just sloughed it off.
Yeah.
So they need to be a big part of this, and they need to be held accountable for some of them, because some of these levees haven't been inspected in 40, 50 years.
I think we ought to do is, look, when I was in Congress, I dealt with the Corps a ton. And the Corps does a lot of good things, but one of the things they do a lot is say no. And they are slow to move, and there's nothing that gets them moving like a little oversight.
Right.
It'd be good for us to come up with questions like that to make sure that we're asking the hard questions.
Well, we know this can happen.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
I mean, and it could happen in 6 months. It could happen in a year.
Yeah.
I don't think this needs to be postponed. There's too much infrastructure and too many farmers that are suffering as a result
Well,
of it.
no, it
And
can't.
a lot of it could have been prevented. Things like this, that's something RDOT could have handled. But a lot of these levees should have been checked and reevaluated years ago.
I told the governor a few days ago when he was here, I was thinking about it at home at night. Who benefits from this river? The Corps of Engineers and everybody that ships it. Quick to pass a fuel tax on everybody in the world using our roads. Why don't we not pass a tax on to the people shipping by the tonnage or whatever and have all of that money allocated to go to rebuilding the levees and maintenance instead of putting it on the county judges and the landowners? You know, if I own that land, I'm going to leave that out. I'm taking it out and I'm going to give you a deed.
Sure.
Exactly what
Sure.
I'm telling you exactly what I told the governor.
So you're putting all your top 5, top 10, including all the contingency plans that would be used in emergency. You're putting all that together.
And mitigation.
Yeah.
Thoughts going forward.
Yeah.
We're building files on what I'm going to need to do in the next 2-4 years and get that accomplished to protect my people and what my thoughts are, what they need.
Sort of a short term, intermediate, a longer term. Yeah.
But you know what I know, if I put in requests for several projects, I'm not going to get every project funded. So I'm going to prioritize and go after the ones I feel are the most important.
Have you talked with any of the other, like Jimmy Hart or any of the other
Not yet.
county Yeah.
Judge Baker, Judge and I are sending all of our excess sandbags to him as hard as we can to help put around Lake Conway.
That's where y'all can play an important role, just making sure that all the, in the middle of it, you're not talking to anybody except the people that are helping you where you are. But one of the things we got to make sure we do is connect each of the county judges and mayors, and so that this is a sort of a collective experience and not just each individual county doing their own thing.
We have Mark and I, from being a former county judge, I know the suffering he's going through. We have a great relationship and work well together. That's not the same thing in every county in the city. And so we're blessed here with that asset. But I don't know, I can't speak for everybody else around me. It's not always that way.
No, I think it's been pretty good response in working together this time. Everybody knew the magnitude of what was coming at them, so you just worked together. But
some of these ideas you got, some of the other mayors, county judges may not be aware. They may not have your experience, right? So to talk about, well, you can surround this with that in a contingency and an emergency, and they may not know. I mean, the shared information is going to be really important.
I think moving forward, my first thing that needs to be fixed is State Highway 155. That's going to take a major undertaking by RDOT. There's probably a hole there 30 foot deep, 200 or 300, maybe 300 feet. The levee run right alongside the highway, or the highway runs beside the levee, I guess. And when it come over and washed that out, it took highway and everything out. So, getting the folks in and out through there, there's ways around, but all those farmers have to use that road, so plus that's direct line to Pettigene Mountain from off Highway 7. You got a lot of people, tourism, so it's affecting a lot of things. So I think as far as out in the county, my very first issue is Highway 155.
Down
there on that levee about a half a mile from the breach, and we let the young farmers do that. But they're down there cranking them open this morning, so that's going to help get the water out.
Gotcha.
So when those get open. But now this, it would have went underwater probably regardless if because it's just low down in there. But it goes under every 2 or 3 years maybe. Y'all got a few minutes?
We good?
We got some time.
Okay, let's do it.
This year talking 15 minutes.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.